Hello and welcome to Stars in the Dark, Season 4, Episode 10, Episode 41 overall. We are preparing to do one of the last jobs this whole run. The crew are looking into dealing with their situation with House Niramal, who are your patrons, House Gilash, whom you've helped set up contact with the rebels and the imperial bureaucracy, where House Gilash have a lot of pull. Last session, we talked about planting information and leaking that information to Petra, who works in the Imperial Security on 1313, using her as a back channel to get information to the imperial bureaucracy to basically burn House Gilash in order to make House Niramal happy. This will, of course, deprive the rebellion on 1314 some of their resources and influence, but them's the breaks, I guess. Can't make everyone happy. So that's what we discussed last session. You didn't really do any work on it. It was just that's kind of where we landed. Everyone's done their downtime activities except for Kai, and I'm saying Kai because I kind of think Bria should get the downtime activities this time around, since she did a job and she's kind of full up on stress, and Val is not. So, or you could split, give them one action each. I think if that's more interesting to you.
Oh, no, I'm muted. Okay. Yes, she does have a lot of stress. What does de-stressing look like in prison?
Well, your vices are faith and obligation. Obligation kind of played out because that was to your son, but I mean faith. You can practice your religion in prison. That's not impossible.
Okay. Trying to think about what that looks like.
So is this her Mandalorian faith, or is it something she has from somewhere else?
Yeah. Mandalorian. Yeah, thank you. That works. I imagine it involves a few times where she puts her hands over her face to represent the helmets that they wear. I think she'll do she'll engage in that. I kind of imagine it kind of being like Islam at this point. So I guess just like a rug and just certain repeated actions, maybe a little Sufism, rolling the head kind of thing. Okay. So she rolls the lowest. No, that's for consequences.
Yeah, lowest attribute, so it's 3 dice.
Oh, right. And then the gang has more than one, has an additional one to that?
Not for this. That's for
okay.
resistance.
Got it.
5. Nice.
Yep. Okay.
So do you want to do one more with her, or do you want to do something with that?
Well, Val apparently still has vertigo. But let's see. I will. What are my choices here? I'm going to start setting up the escape route. Like when we're ready to do this, like, you know, start getting these checkpoints ready, finding out what kind of bribes or whatever I need to get the gears flowing to make sure that when, you know, it's, you know, the get to the chopper part of the show, that there's actually room for the chopper to leave. So I guess that's a long-term project.
Could be, or could be acquire an asset, depending on how involved it is, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a travel agent. I'm gonna hire somebody to do this work for me. I guess that would be acquire an asset. Finally found the rules tab here.
So I would assume that the way out of Coruscant is on the ship.
Sure.
Like taking the ship and leave, but this is like getting from the prison to the ship, wherever you decide you.
Oh, yeah. You're okay. That makes a lot more sense, actually.
Or is
yeah,
it to make sure that you can get out with the ship, because that can also be a thing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think the job will be
cool.
well, the job will take care of us getting to the ship. This is more like a, you know, 1,300 levels worth of BS to to deal with. And I want to mention something about a womp wrap, but I don't know. But I want to get out of this what is it? This exhaust port of a planet to mirror the movies. So I want someone to set all that up for me. And
I think that could be either with, if you do it as a long-term project, then I think everything will be ready and be set up. You'll just be able to say, yeah, we've done it, get out of here. If you do it as acquire an asset, then I think this is something that, yeah, we'll still have to roll to get out, but you have someone who's helping you. You have like part of it finished. Does that make sense?
yeah. I want to do the former. So what would that look like?
A long-term project.
Long-term project. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I what's the race where it's like they're kind of flat and then the eyes are here, kind of. I don't see Rich. Rich only has a race tab, but I can't remember what those are.
Are they the no, not
the Thorians, the like hammerheads?
Hammerhead. Yeah, that sounds right. A Thorian. Let me see here.
It's not the
I got the Mass Effect version.
you have the Ithorians, who are the ones who are really tough. Yeah.
The Ithorian. Yeah. Like the one in Boba Fett that was sitting there.
The mayor. Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted someone like that to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you've traveled a fair bit. I think you probably know someone who you're at least know by reputation this Ithorian who does this sort of thing, like arrange permits, make sure you have a safe route from here to there.
Yeah,
And this
exactly.
is more complicated now since there is actual fighting between the rebels and the Empire on the higher levels. So you'll have maybe like 2,000 levels up, that's smooth sailing, and then things will get a bit dicey, and who knows how things will go for the last 500 levels or so. But you know, that's how it works. Maybe you'll
It's
have
like
to fly like through a level and go up through a different shaft somewhere.
it's like that end scene in the movie Dread where the woman's on that drug where time slows down, she's falling off the thing. Yeah.
Mama.
Yeah. Okay. So long-term project, I will use
And I think I don't think this is too complicated. Like, you don't have to do a lot of work with it. So I
right.
think this is just a 4-tick clock. It's
Okay.
just you need to provide enough information that he can set things up, and maybe like arrange contact with some rebel somewhere, that sort of thing, or some other way that you can help him solve some of the issues. But
Yeah.
he's probably going to want some money, I
Yeah.
suspect.
Yeah.
That maybe like could be something that like comes out of your stash. So as long as you have some way of paying him, it probably be fine.
Okay. And I'm okay if in the story he double crosses me, like wants more money or something like that. Like you normally when I would run this game, like I would say like you bought it, you paid for it, you got what you asked for. But I mean we're playing Blades in the Dark. I think betrayal at the last moment can if it's appropriate can be really good. Okay, so consort. I have 2 dice in consort. Let's see where we go. That I got a 5. So that's 2 ticks.
Yeah, I think so. You can pay 1 credit to make it 3 ticks, but on the other hand, you can pay 1 credit to do the action 1 more time. Or you can save, like, do it the next downtime. There will be at least 1 more downtime before you go into the prison job, so you still have time to handle that.
Okay, yeah. We'll probably use some of the money we get from the job we're on. So if we get money at all, but yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. My 2 downtime actions are done.
Cool. You also have a downtime activity for the crew, and I think they can also do, or maybe they can't do long-term projects. I don't know.
Yeah, acquire an asset, reduce heat, long-term project.
Yeah, so you could potentially put the crew on working on this as well, if you want to. On the other hand, you may want them to do something else.
Yeah, I think I want to keep this as close to the chest as possible. So.
Cool. That sounds wise. Yeah. So if you're set on this plan with planting the information, you kind of need to figure out some of the specifics. Do some kind of information gathering about things. Like yeah, well, whatever details you need to actually set things up. And I'm not sure who wants to get into that. I feel kind of like we should get Rich to do something before you have to leave, or is it now you have to leave?
6 minutes. I can do something.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So
So-
this is some setup. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm thinking that you can once you have the information planted, you can contact Petra and link things to her. But I think you need to figure out like who is vulnerable, what kind of information it is that you want to sell out, where to plant the information, that sort of thing.
Okay. Yeah. So it sounds like I'm going to do some gathering information. I think I'll set this up to do study. That sounds interesting.
So you like studying the family members of House Gilash? Are you studying the imperial bureaucracy?
I kind of like the idea of studying the family members, starting with the gossip rags and then hunting around with. Yeah, started with the gossip mags and then just casing areas where they frequent. I think it's we see Baron and Tycho spending a lot of time. He's putting in the extra hours. Not that you can tell when it gets late because there's no sun up here. Yeah, he's not great at this though. So I will take some stress to give myself a second die.
That gets you to 3 dice actually, if you want to use loose cannon.
That's true. And so, will it? Push yourself to use half your stress. My stress is now 4. I just added 2 to make it 4.
Oh,
So I
right,
think I
right,
just have
right.
2 dice.
Yeah, you use the dice pool. Yeah. It's not that your action value becomes and then you get push on top. Right. That's my mistake.
If I were
Yeah,
to
so
do,
it's
if
3
I
dice
had
either.
4 and I pushed now, I could do 3. But
Yeah.
all right, here we go.
I was thinking you got the die for pushing as well, but that's true. It says the dice pool becomes. So yeah.
A4.
A4.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get good details and clarifying and follow-up questions are possible. I need to check the NPCs so that I don't lie too much about what's already established. They are, yeah. Sorry. There it is. Tony Gilash is the master of shadows for House Gilash. So he's like the spy head of spying. Marquis Gilash is the actual head of the family. Marquis, he is not directly involved in the bureaucracy. He's like he manages the noble house, and Tony isn't. He doesn't have a position in the bureaucracy either, but he manages like assets like you are for House Niromal. He manages that kind of assets for them. They don't have as many as House Niromal do. They have like you can figure out by following him and that sort of thing. They have like a small crew of like half a dozen people maybe who seem to be like their elite strike force, that sort of thing, doing wet work and like covert operations. They have like house guards, like all the noble houses do, but that's not his area. The one who has the highest position in the actual bureaucracy is Marquis's oldest son, who is also his heir, who will now get a name as soon as I get the name generator. His name is Dusor. I will put that in the chat. Dusor Gilash, he's, yeah, and he has like some kind of, it's like the imperial, the Coruscant bureaucracy is impenetrable, like incomprehensible, I guess. It's incredibly complicated and old, and but he has some sort of director position, and he's the one who runs House Gilash within the bureaucracy. So he's less concerned with running the bureaucracy than he is with running House Gilash's influence within the bureaucracy. That makes sense.
Makes sense.
So he would probably be a prime target. He would be the one who would be doing the things that the rebels have use for. He would be the one getting them into the right positions, that sort of.
So Dusor is a target.
Yeah, that's
Excellent.
He seems like a good target. If you get rid of him or compromise him, then that will hit all of House Gilash's assets within the bureaucracy very hard.
I will meet with Val, pass that along to him, and let him distribute that to the crew.
Oh,
One more time, the name was what?
Dusor.
Just
It's in the chat.
It's in the chat.
Yep, that's perfect.
I will add him to the entities tab when we take our break.
So we're going to take a break.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So cool.
Yep.
Rich needs to go for a bit.
Okay.
So we'll take a break and start up again once Rich is back. So we can chat for a bit. Yeah, so we're back. Baron has set up or picked out a suitable target for your nefarious scheme. As I mentioned last session, I think I did anyway, I think this job will be not like moment-to-moment play. It will more be like a series of scenes that may take place over a number of days, that sort of thing. Because I think this is a more complex operation. Unless we want to just focus it on breaking into a place and planting information, we can do that as well. But I'm not sure what's most interesting. I guess we could look at the, unless there's someone who has a clear idea of some more gather information they want to do. No? Then I think we can look at the approaches and see what feels right, like as an entry point to what you're trying to do. So assault, deception, stealth, weird, social, or transport. I don't think this is an assault job. It's not like you're storming the imperial bureaucracy headquarters and throwing fire in the face of someone. This is at least a little bit sneakier than that. Could be deception if you're trying to trick someone into entering the information for you, maybe. Could be stealth if you're sneaking inside to plant the information in a computer system. Could theoretically be weird, though I'm not sure exactly what that would be in this case. Social if you're trying to use well, connections, I think, to get inside. If you're using like for example, your rebel connections to get in and do this. Transport, maybe if the focus is on actually transporting the data. I don't know what do they call them in Star Wars? Like those things they have in Rogue One in the big data tower. I don't know what they're. I don't remember what they're called.
That's hard drives, whatever they are.
Yeah, yeah.
I like the fact that you changed the word weird to unorthodox, because unorthodox makes me think about things that aren't necessarily like magic powers from, blades, right? Like unorthodox makes me think of things like, yeah, I just walk in with the information and let myself get picked up or whatever by some police force, and I convince them that the information is real, but then either I break out or you guys help me break out or something like that. I'm not suggesting that's our plan, but unorthodox kind of means that Hail Mary, like we can't figure out any other way of doing it. So like, I don't know, that's just what the word unorthodox brings to me as opposed to the word weird. So
yeah, I still have the weird here because the explanation for it is use strange powers or technology.
okay. Well, I must have copied and pasted it from something else because it's got unorthodox on mine. So, well, never mind then.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just looking at the rules. Yeah, unorthodox may be a good word for it. Yeah.
The technique from the movie Seven. That's what I'm thinking for unorthodox. Anyway, stealth or deception, I guess, yeah, right?
Either that or possibly social, but I think stealth or deception seems to fit most with what you were trying to do. And this isn't super important, like since this isn't really a mechanical thing unless you hit transport, which is your crew's specialty. It's more, and I don't think we should feel like obligated to stick to that formula through the whole job. Like the whole thing with the
but the plan, it seems like it's really been deception. We're trying to trick people into doing stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So the method of deception is that that's the planted information. Yeah. And we don't need to go into detail what the information is. The point is that if the Empire gets this information, they will believe that, or sorry, maybe I'm because this is tricky. I believe the idea was that if the Empire gets this information, then they believe. No, that's the true part. The true part is that House Gilash is working with the rebels. The deception part is that the rebels are supposed to believe that House Gilash has sold them out. Right?
So they pull back so that they don't have, so that Empire doesn't hit the rebels. They hit House Galash and they get stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So what
So
you
are we
want to
planting
do-
two pieces of information? One for the Empire and one for the rebels?
Just
Yeah, but
one for the rebels,
Empire
so that
just needs. Sorry.
I was going to say one for the rebels so that they pull back, and then we just tell Petra the truth.
Just tell Petro the thing, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
So what you want to do is deceive the rebels.
Yeah.
That's the core. That's the tricky part of the job, I guess. Is what I'm getting at. So I think this will. Do we feel like we're ready to go to the engagement role, or is there something more you want to do beforehand?
We are fabricating this. Do we maybe want to acquire an asset to make that information, or do you want to do that in a flashback? Or
Either way, I mean, you can use the crew. You have one downtime activity that can be used to acquire an asset, so you can set someone on the crew to do that.
Yeah,
I'd be into that. What do y'all think?
Yeah, that sounds good. I have down in my notes that we had talked about Mr. Wade, the robot, the droid, that wipes its memory.
Yeah.
And so the crew member could be hiring Mr. Wade, and that's where we slip whenever they wipe their memory. That's when we could slip the little piece of, false information in that the rebels would get a hold of.
Cool. So a suitable crew member for this.
Well, Bade has the little small bot, right?
Yeah,
Like-
BD-8.
Yeah, so you have like tinkering skills and things like that, right?
I do. I have a couple tinker.
Yeah.
I could
we really
also
need a
spend a cred to get Tritzy a downtime action because she'll get +1 result when we acquire an assets as well because she's
okay.
connected.
Okay.
Yeah,
if you wanna-
because you have a free downtime activity that's
Yeah.
the rest of the crew doing something. But that's you can save that and use it in a flashback if you want to. Because if you get extra result level, this is kind of an important part of the plan.
Yeah.
So I think that could be useful.
Yeah, I'm okay spending a cred for that.
Yeah. Cool. So Tritzy hires Mr. Wade to move some money around. He wipes his memory, and while he's doing that, she implants this information.
Cool. So we roll tier for that, right?
Not if you're the one doing it. Then you. Sorry. Yeah, you do. Right.
Okay, cool.
Acquire an asset is roll your tier. Yeah. And you get +1 die if you have a friend or contact who can help you. Of course, that means they know about what's going on. So I don't know. Do you want to bring someone in?
I'm okay just doing 3, I think.
Cool.
Sweet. Let's do it. It's a 4, which gets us tier, and then knocks it up to tier +1.
Yeah. You have a tier 4 information hack on Mr. Wade.
Nice. I guess the way that looks is like Tritzy's not only connected, but she's a elite hacksaw, so that probably helps getting it like burying it. Like it looks like it looks like it was deleted. If you go and like do a disk recovery kind of thing, it's like buried 1 level down, so it looks more legit.
Cool.
Did you hack the Gibson?
I did. That Gibson is super hacked.
Okay. With your
Yeah.
28 baud modem.
Let's do the engagement roll then. I think we're at that point now.
Sweet.
So is this operation particularly bold or daring? I think so. You're kind of throwing all your enemies at each other, or enemies, some of your friends. But yeah, I think this is.
We want them to kiss. We want them to kiss.
Is this operation overly complex or contingent on many factors? It is contingent on the rebels reacting a certain way, like finding the information and reacting the way you want them to, etc. And same thing with the thing you feed Petra. So I think it's complicated. So you start with 1 die, plus 1 die for bold or daring, minus 1 die for complex. Does the plan's detail expose the vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? Yes, this is a vulnerability for House Gilash. They're definitely, this is something that's dangerous for them. Is the target strongest against this approach? Do they have particular defenses or special preparations? Not this particular thing. I don't think so. I mean, they are a noble house. They're used to intrigue and that sort of thing. But this is, I don't think this is something they would see coming. So, yeah. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation? Do you have someone?
Is this where
Are
Mr. Wade, the asset, comes into play, or is that later?
Ooh. I think that's later. This is
Okay.
specifically like friends or contacts that like someone, I would say, outside the job, kind of.
Is Petra in on the plan, or are we just giving her the information and letting her run with it?
I mean, Petra is working, she's working with the rebels.
Yeah.
So she wouldn't want to sell out the
Yeah,
rebels.
no.
So I think you're going to have to lie to her about what this is. If you tell her the truth, then she will want to help House Gilash, and that's not what you want.
No.
You could potentially, I mean, if you want to talk to some of your rebel contacts on 1313, then they could maybe tell you something about how the rebels on 1314 are likely to react to this. Like they know they have at least some contact with Theolog, so they would know a little bit about how he thinks. But that means like asking some questions, and maybe people will get suspicious afterwards. So it is a risk.
I'd say no.
Cool. Are any enemies or rivals interfering with the operation? Not directly, I don't think. I mean, there's no one who knows this is going on. So there's no one there to really, I mean, you have opposition, but it's not directed specifically at what you're doing. Any other elements to consider? Doesn't seem so. That leaves you with 2 dice. Who wants to make the fateful roll? Okay, I'll point to Stephen.
Awesome. 2 dice. Going. Got a 6.
Nice. You're in a controlled position.
A 6 and a 1. That's crazy.
Yeah. Cool. So
don't get to use my special ability for our last one.
Well, it's not the last job yet. You at least have
That's
the
true.
prison break. So
Right. I'm like, this prison break thing is that let's go sell some donuts or something.
What if we just talk to the parole board? That's
Let the justice system do
Yeah.
its thing.
the wheels turn slowly, but they do turn.
6. All right.
yeah.
Nice.
So let me let me think now. So the goal is for the rebels to find the information you've stashed on Mr. Wade, and so that they think that House Gilash has sold them out. I think this will need to involve having Mr. Wade take a job with House Gilash so that it's plausible that the information could come from them, and then make sure he for some reason falls into the hands of the rebels. That seems to be necessary components for this plan to work. So how or who, maybe that's not what I should be asking. I think someone will need to plant the idea or get someone in House Gilash to hire Mr. Wade. And I think we can jump into a scene where someone is doing that. So who would take point on that is my question. Unless you're doing this some other way, like, but I think we were leaning on deception as the approach. So I think this is making someone in House Gilash think that they need to hire Mr. Wade.
So in general, what we want it to look like is that House Galosh is teaming up with the Imperials. We know that they used to. They used to have an Imperial contact that they were in bed with, and then they saw that the tide was turning, and they asked us to hook them up with the rebels. Do they still have any Imperial contacts?
Oh yeah,
That
I
would
mean they're still in the bureaucracy. It's just that now they're using their pull to starting to help the rebels because they think that the rebels will take over, and they want to be on the winning side when that happens. Or as the person who talked to you said, like they want to protect their family from undue like from consequences that wouldn't be fair to them. They were just doing their job. That sort of.
So basically, this could, all we need to do is have have them set up their meet that they normally do with the Imperials in order to get information. This would look normal, and Mr. Wade would be a good hire in order for them to then be able to wipe the memory later, so he doesn't know about what's going on. And that makes it all look like they're still working with the Imperials, and we just leave some implanted information in Mr. Wade. So it looks like they're playing both sides.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this would be convincing House Galosh to hire Mr. Wade for the interface to the Imperials. But so I'm looking at the Imperials on 1314. Do we know who they might normally be channeling information through?
Ooh, that's a good question. We haven't really developed the Imperials on 1314 much. These are kind of low-level guys. I think one thing you could do is yeah, I mean we can make up some new character.
Or Or we could promote someone from 1313 that we would like to see on screen again.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I think actually that Inquisitor Anathem has moved on from 1330 into 1340. And he is
Good choice.
for whatever reason, you don't know why he's here, but he is involved in this something's happening. I mean, there are things happening higher up with rebellion and that sort of thing, and he is doing something here. So he's, I think he would be involved in this. There to be briefed at least. Yeah, I'm not sure what would the situation be? I mean, you can either try to trick someone into hiring Mr. Wade, or you could like infiltrate the imperial bureaucracy yourselves and place the like requisition that hire this droid for this meeting.
Or it could be that our whole plan all along from the very beginning was this whole trick with Mr. Wade, and we've been punished for waiting so long, but it turns out what we've been waiting for is for House Galash to get to the point where they hire Mr. Wade. So this is sort of like our setting this all up as a flashback.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. That's going to be a 2-stress flashback because that's, I would say that that's an elaborate action.
I'll take that.
It's a big reveal sort of thing. But that's cool. Yeah. Nice. So yeah, what's actually going on is that you know that House Gilash regularly uses Mr. Wade, but it's like once a month or something, and you've been waiting for the right time that you could hire him just before he went into them, so that he wouldn't be wiped too many times in between, and maybe this data you implanted would get lost. Does that make sense? Cool. So now you know that Mr. Wade is he's going to be hired by House Gilash. That would mean that the next step is making sure that Mr. Wade ends up with the rebels and that they have reason to go into his data core and find this information. So that's where we're setting the scene. So I think this is meeting up with, let's say, who do we want to bring in from the rebels on 1314? I think Shachri, AC, or Gigi are the reasonable people you would feed this kind of information to.
GG. Wow.
GG. Yeah, Val's old
I'm trying to
flame.
remember. GG.
Gigi's ex-Black Sun, and they might see plans within plans. Maybe we should stick with like Aussie, who's part of the Alderanian expatriate network, because maybe they'd be a little bit more innocent. Maybe.
Could be.
Yeah.
You've dealt a little bit with AC before, but not a lot. She was the one Etma and Bade was supposed to meet up with did meet up with when Etma got into a fight with some
Oh, perfect.
stormtroopers.
Okay.
So she's
I've
probably a little bit wary about meeting with you. Going to make sure it's a place where there are no stormtroopers around.
What can I say?
Whenever we had that meeting, did we help her get out? Like we got the.
I think she got out of there. No, wait.
I don't remember if she left just before everything went down,
Yeah,
or if we made a
think so.
distraction to get her out.
I think she left just before.
Okay. So she knows that he's on, but.
Yeah. So I think Bade should be at that meeting, since she's met with Bade before. And we'll bring others in as it seems appropriate. Where would you set this up? Do you meet with her at the donut shop, or do you have some other place?
I let her set up the safe house where she wants to meet, so she would feel most comfortable.
Cool.
And let me look at the map to see if there's a good place where the rebels might like that. Where are the rebels in 1314?
They have some presence in the Bend. I think the Bend north side, the factory, that kind of area, the kind of northwest or west side.
Okay. And I'm gonna say she sets up. You said near the foundry. Who is Lydra again?
Sorry?
Who is Lydra? Lydra?
That's your former contact on 1330.
Oh,
The
okay.
one
Yeah,
that
our
in
first,
the
our first
laundromat.
fixer, right? Yeah.
Okay. I was just looking through locations, and
Yeah, I
there's some
think that was
locations in
before
the
Bates'
foundry.
time. Actually, she came and went before
Yeah.
Bate joined.
That's very possible. I don't think we have any good locations on 1314.
Okay.
We kind of stopped doing pictures since the page worked so badly. I've done an alternative location thing, but I'm not sure how good. And it doesn't have any interesting locations on it anyway.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
Bria's aunt, who, when she had a shop, and now she's fled.
Mhm.
Maybe like it's just empty still, right? And
Yeah.
it's in a fancy neighborhood. Like people aren't going to be looking for,
Sure.
you know.
That's
for-
on
for crime.
1313.
It is.
And AC usually hangs out on 1314, but she's involved with the I mean the Alderanian expat network. They're everywhere. So meeting on 1313 isn't a big deal. That's
It
fine.
could be a storehouse for that shop that's on 1314. I don't know.
Sure.
If
I mean, she ordered clothes for a fancy shop from 1314. That would place it in the factory on 1314. So somewhere there.
yeah, fashion's always a year behind. Right.
So somewhere, I think just off the thoroughfare, like on the west side of the thoroughfare, where it's easy to transport stuff to the docks down to 1330. Does that make sense? Cool.
Yep. And it's like an old abandoned warehouse, or it's a warehouse.
Yeah.
Where stuff's moving back and forth. Okay.
I think it's in use, but I think it's almost completely manned by droids. So it's a fairly safe place to hold a meeting, because the droids, these are like the very simple-minded droids who they're just doing their job. They don't really care if someone else is wandering around, as long as you get inside without trouble. And I think we can assume that they can get inside without issue, and whoever else needs to be there. So yeah, Bade meeting with AC in this warehouse. It's noisy. I think they're like running these clothes racks back and forth. So yeah. So you get there, and she kind of steps out of an alcove and kind of waves you towards her.
So I'll step forward. Is it okay if Val is there as well?
Yeah, sure. Anyone who
Yeah.
wants to be there can be there. I just didn't want to get into a whole discussion of you need to be there, blah blah blah. So if anyone wants to be there, you can just show up. That's fine.
Yep. So I think we step into the alcove where she is. So, it's been a while. Thank you for meeting with us.
Yeah, no, Storm is around this time. Maybe that's a good thing.
I hope so.
She doesn't know me, right?
Sorry?
She doesn't know me from anyone in general. Like we've never met before, have we?
She hasn't met with you. I don't remember if
So with a flourish, like I introduce myself,
yeah.
that kind of thing. Push back the hood and charming smile, charisma, things that Kai doesn't have, but that that Val does. Charmed, I'm sure, kind of, I don't know, that kind of stuff. So
Oh, and isn't your cloak like an Alderanian
it
thing?
is.
Yeah.
It is.
And I think she gives you this look, and I think she places your accent. Like,
yeah, I play it my down home accent, right?
yeah. So she names like a region of Alderaan. She names the region that's your home region.
Sure. Yeah.
And she just says the name of the region just to see how you react.
I have some sort of story about, like, I lived in the region over from there, but I spent more time with my cousins than anything else, and right, Tycho, like we're cousins, yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
right. And so, like, I have more of his family's accent than I have of my own, kind of thing. But yeah, I just have this story where I can talk as much about Alderaan as I want to, whether it's true or not, and just make it into a big thing.
I think I want to see a roll from you here to see
Okay.
how charming you can be, because this is like it's since you're also Alderanian, this is important to her, like what kind of connection you get. Now it's not just business, now it's something more.
Okay. I'm gonna roll consort, and
And I'll help.
Yeah, how do you help?
So I think I know her through business, and bringing someone in who has your background helps solidify that we're on the up and up. It's, this is my associate Val. She puts two and two together where you're from, and it's like, okay, I trust them a little bit better, more than now. Yeah.
Okay. And I'll go ahead and push myself. So that's 4 dice. So close to a crit. I got a 6. 6, 2 5s, and a 2.
Yeah, but that's success.
No consequences.
Yeah, she gets this. She kind of she doesn't embrace you, but she kind of like grasps your arm a little bit and looks you right in the eye and just holds your look for a few moments, and you can see in her face that it's meaningful to her to meet someone who remembers Alderaan as it was.
Right. After a moment of that, I'm like, don't hold back, and I just go ahead and whatever embrace she wanted, like a hug or whatever, or something like that. Like, I'll go ahead and just finish what she had started.
Yeah. Yeah, she hugs you. She doesn't hold it for very long.
Sure.
She lives with this. This is kind of her life's work is spreading the information about Alderaan, but it's still like it feels genuine. It's a genuine connection.
that I'm
And I
about
want to point
screw over.
out now that you're doing all this to trick her into,
Yeah,
into
yeah, I've been thinking
betraying the
about that.
cause, but whatever.
It gets Bria out of prison.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah.
that's all that matters right now.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So what is it you need?
So I think we need to right a wrong. We have always dealt really well with you and with your brethren on 1313. And we made introductions between your family and an associate family of ours. And we have reason to believe that we were all being played. And we need you to, we're trying to make things right. And we need you to be on your guard and see if you can't confirm whether or not we've been played by the people that came to both of us.
And she kind of looks around to make sure there's no one like hanging around, no droids that are passing by right.
So
right
I'll
there.
take that opportunity, and I'll be like paint him. I'm like, I'll take care of it, and I'm gonna walk off for a bit, like as if I'm doing a perimeter. I have something very specific I want to do, but I'll leave it to Bane, my
Cool.
co-boss of the gang, to handle the rest of it.
Are you talking about House Gilash?
I am. I'm just reluctant to say that too loud because who knows what droids are recording here. I mean, droids are a weakness, as we well know.
This is true. If do you have anything that can confirm this? Do you have anything more than suspicion?
Yeah, that's why we're coming to you. We don't have any. We're not dealing with the house directly. We're certainly not dealing with the your enemies directly. But you are dealing with, you know, the house in a favorable manner. So, I think you have more insights into what might be the more insights into trying to detect what's happening than we do. And we've just been seeing some stuff going on, and I think this is whenever I pull out, you know, what we've seen is that they're still interacting with the Imperials. And we pull out the information about the Inquisitor, where they're meeting with the Inquisitor. And I said, I haven't dealt with this person before. I think we have like a holovid of someone from House Galash and the Inquisitor meeting and talking briefly. I'm like, I haven't dealt with this person before, but my brothers in arms have dealt with them on 1313. And it's not a good scene. So we don't have anything specific. But what we do have is a trusted relationship with you, and I want to make sure that you are aware, and maybe you can find out what we can't.
Cool. Let's have a roll for that.
Yeah.
Before I know how she reacts.
So that's probably a sway,
Sounds fair.
and I will push myself. Just for interest, do you have any idea about a devil's bargain?
Maybe there are some droids recording.
Yeah, I think the devil's bargain here would be that a droid is recording, but only image, not sound. So someone can find out that you met with her, but not what you were talking about.
Yeah, I don't want to scrub this in any way. So I'm going to say no to that devil's bargain. I just wanted to see what was on the table, because if it was
Yeah.
super interesting, I might be like, oh, I can't pass that one up. Okay, so I think I'm rolling 3 dice. Let me roll that. Got a 4.
So you're in a controlled position since you got a 6 on your approach. So with a 4, you can either withdraw and try a different approach, or you can do it and suffer a consequence. I think the consequence here would be that your position becomes risky, and that's because she will spread the information through her network, which means that more people will know. People will know that the suspicion about this going on came from you, and they'll be able to trace it back. That doesn't. I don't. I'm not saying I'm establishing that in the fiction that people will know that this was you, but that's kind of the elevated risk is that you told her this directly. Does that make sense?
That absolutely makes sense, and I think I'm going to explicitly talk to her on the on the table, saying, I understand that you're going to, in order for you to find this information, and get what we couldn't, you're going to have to talk to your network and provide them with information that means we are as at risk as you are, and I understand that, but it's the price that we have to pay for a continued good relationship. So I'm willing to take that consequence. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, she believes you that you have reason to suspect that the Inquisitor is somehow involved in this. That House Gilash isn't entirely on the up and up about about their dealings with the rebels. Now, to be clear, she's not like technically part of the New Republic rebellion. Like the expatriate network is a separate organization, but they're very closely allied. They have
She's like a
the same
cell.
goals.
Yeah.
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 Not quite. I mean, they're part of the rebellion, like the Umbrella Rebellion, but that's like Han Solo is part of the rebellion, but he's not like well, I guess when he becomes a general, he is, but like early Han is part of the rebellion, but he's not a rebel, if that makes sense.
So I've tried to drop a few hints about droids not being reliable and giving her the information about the Inquisitor meeting, and this is the most recent thing that House Galash and the Inquisitors have the Empire have met. Is that enough for them to go on and take the bait, or do I need to hook?
I think it's enough for them to start doing something. But if it's going to happen fast enough for your purposes, you may need to do something more. Like the job isn't finished yet, I wouldn't think.
Okay. Does anyone
But
have
I
an
don't
idea
think
about
you
how
can
to
do
hurry
much
that up?
more. I think this scene is finished, except for whatever it was that Kai wanted to do.
Yeah, I'll be quick. So Val is actually doing the perimeter like he pantomimes. But he comes upon this this droid, and it's slumped down, and it was a droid that does record activity in the warehouse, but it's busted. And nearby he finds where Valsi, his son, and the aunt apparently stayed for a while, hiding before they made their way off planet. And he just touches the blanket, and just tries to imagine them there. But he realizes that they obviously took the droid out so that no one would know they were there. And maybe Valsi carved something into the floor or something. I don't know what it would say, but yeah,
Um, Yeah, I think he I think this was like their last stop before they went for the ship that would take them out of there.
right, right.
So they've discarded some luggage they couldn't take with them, like sorted out a few things. And I think there's not a carving, but there's a small like spaceship model that that Valsi had that he has left behind. Probably unintentionally. It's like on the floor inside the door, like he dropped it just as they were leaving.
So what I'm imagining are Star Wars mini-sized ships,
Yeah.
and they're kind of like the ball that flies around and zaps Skywalker in Episode 4, and it's like you turn them on, and they basically just dogfight each other,
Yeah,
for a
yeah, yeah.
while. That's all they're programmed to do is just do fancy maneuvers around each other and stuff like that. So there's a I don't know, the Falcon and a TIE destroyer or something like that. Yeah, I can imagine those falling out because they're kind of small, right? And they have this little ineffective little zap they do it towards each other and stuff like that.
So what does Val do with it?
He well, they're almost out of power, so they're just kind of like they slowly move through the air or whatever, and so he turns both of them off, puts them into his cloak pouch, one of his secret pouches, and how does he react to this? I had the idea, but I didn't realize, like, I didn't think about what his reaction would be.
I think on the underside of the base, it's marked with like to Valsi from mom on your 6th birthday or something like that.
Oh, back when Bria had a heart. Ouch. I think he just cries. He's never on screen dealt with the emotion that his child's been kidnapped, right? He enlisted the help of Ettima. He's done a lot of things, but he's just never taken a moment to actually let the emotions hit. So I think he just stands there and cries a bit. And then heads back because he knows he's being missed. He doesn't want anybody to be suspicious or anything like that. So it's just a moment.
Yeah, I think we end that scene there, and it's time for another break. So let's take. Yeah, so I think this discussion with AC is enough to like plant some seeds of suspicion. But I think to push this to the point where they're specifically targeting Mr. Wade, you'll need to do something more. You've hinted that droids are unreliable, pointed to this meeting, but I don't think that's enough to make them take that step. Yeah. I'm not sure how you would do that, but that's your job to come up with. Yeah. No one?
Is there like is there someone like our bot that they would be interacting with regularly that we could disrupt or recommend a replacement for, or maybe they're already in use and they did another one?
Ooh, that's good. I think, yeah, I think the rebels, just like you, I mean, they have some financial assets. They need the services of some kind of droid like this, but maybe they have someone in-house. You're not sure. You didn't gather information on this, so you don't know. But you can do that now, I think, since we're doing this kind of piecemeal. I think someone could figure out how do the rebels manage their finances.
Right. That might actually be a job for Tritzy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
She's
power
got
gaming
the-
blades, like having multiple characters.
Yeah, I mean it's a
Blam.
standard PBTA thing, right? Bring in
Yeah.
a second character that you play alongside your first
Yeah.
one. So I'm fine with it.
Yeah, GMs do it all the time. Yeah, so I guess she's gonna be tracking that through see if there's any like financial. So does she want to do it through the network, or yeah, I think so. So looking for traces of I guess it would be like above board financial transactions that would point at
Yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of movement.
Yeah. So and in this case, since they're starting to cooperate with House Gilash, you can sort of compare those and
Yeah,
see.
they have the
Yeah.
yeah, and that's just diving into the net and digging up records and putting together spreadsheets.
Yeah.
Trissy's favorite thing, spreadsheets.
She's just like us.
Yeah, I know. Playing close myself. I guess that would be a study then. Probably not. Yeah.
Study seems fair since you're using more like public records or records that are easy to get.
Yeah, it's more like assembling information than like tinkering. So
Yeah.
yeah. I think let's push that 3 dice. Oh, could have done it with consort before. Didn't do that. Yeah, I'll do it 3 dice. That sounds good. She already acquiring assets. So colon. Yeah, I think that's all there is. Standard effect and all, or
Yeah, you're at
Yeah.
standard effect, and you're at risky position since that's what or actually
oh, did we start it? Yeah.
you started at control, but I think I think Tritzy is in a control position here. You're not doing anything dangerous.
Yeah, let's trade position for effect then, and like maybe she has to like enter some servers that are not publicly available, so she has to
do
put
a
herself
bit
on
of
the line a little bit
slicing.
more. Yeah, do a little slices. Cool. So 3 dice. There is a 4.
There is the 4. Where
Just
we've
barely.
been looking for. So that means you have great effect, but you do it with a consequence. Harm, complication, reduced effect, or your position becomes desperate. Yeah. I think the complication here, or the consequence is that the rebels know that this is a risk, that someone will go looking for their financial their transactions. So they have set up some tripwires and warnings and that sort of thing. So, and this will move your position to desperate, because now they are aware that there's something fishy going on. Yeah.
I think she'll put on a pot of coffee and resist that then. Resisting. That's 2 dice plus 1, 3 dice for resist.
Yeah, depends on what you're resisting with.
I guess it would still be study, right?
I mean, it's either insight, prowess, or resolve.
Yeah,
And
insight.
prowess doesn't seem right, but insight, yeah. So that's 3 dice because you have the extra from your crew.
Calf, is that it? Hey, it's only 1 stress.
Yeah, I mean, of course, Tritzy, she's a practiced slicer. She knows
Yeah.
what to look for, and
Yeah, she's set up tripwires like that before. She knows the deal.
yeah. So yeah, what do you find out about the rebels' financial structure and that sort of thing? Think they've been fairly clever about this. They clearly have someone with some economy background of some kind working with them. They've set up, like, there are some shell corporations and that sort of thing. There's money moving around that looks like genuine transactions that aren't really. So they keep their money moving, but that does involve using some droids to make sure that everything looks legit. They don't use Mr. Wade. They have some actual above board droids who are sympathetic to the rebellion, who are helping them.
So either when getting Mr. Wade to act as an above board droid, or sabotage the droids they're already using or put them on a commission, or tie them up with another job or something like that. Maybe create a front identity for Mr. Wade to make him appear as a legit droid.
Subcontracting in, maybe.
Yeah. And they do these interactions in person, so it wouldn't be just like pulling him in as another just put a mustache on him.
No.
Your normal droid's homesick with the flu, but this one will do just fine.
Yeah. That could be arranged. We get some droid going on.
Yeah, I think they do these transactions. They have actually set up, this is something you find out from the financial records. They have a small office set up somewhere in, let's see, it's in North Side, close to the factory. There's a district there that has like small businesses, offices, that sort of thing. They're renting an office there that they're using only for this. Like it's otherwise completely empty.
And we want them to discover whatever evidence is in Mr. Wade. Is that right?
Yeah.
We put there.
So not only do you want them to use Mr. Wade, you also want them to either become so suspicious of Mr. Wade that they check him out.
Yeah.
Maybe they do that whenever they hire a new droid.
Yeah, maybe that's a standard like interview. Like, oh, we're gonna do a deep dive on your core
Data
or whatever,
or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Yeah, so it sounds like we need to get Mr. Wade a job somehow.
Mr. Wade goes to Washington. Except it's Coruscant. Mr. Wade goes to
Mr. Wade
Coruscant.
goes to course.
Yeah, so I think, do you want to like sabotage the standard droid so that they will need to get external help? That could mean they go to House Gilash, ask them for help, and they use Mr. Wade. That's one way. May work out, maybe works out, maybe not. Or you can get Mr. Wade into this pool of droids that they're already using, and get him undercover there. Or maybe there's a third option that I can't think of.
Yeah, I feel like getting him into the pool is probably the safest bet there.
So that means he will need to become accepted as one of these rebellion sympathetic droids.
Yeah. Can we do that in a flashback and just have him, like, say, since we've been working on this plan for a while, like, it seems like
yeah, sure.
that paperwork would take a little while, so maybe he's.
I would say that's it's too stress because it's an elaborate action, and I think it would require a downtime activity of some kind, either a long-term project or acquire asset.
Maybe that's the smuggler's job.
The crew, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think acquire asset in this case would be like giving him some kind of credentials that he can use to bluff, or a backstory that he can use to bluff the other droids. And if you push it to a long-term project, then he can actually have been involved with their organization for a while. But that will probably require more than one downtime activity, so it's going to be more expensive.
I think faking the credentials sounds more fun.
Cool.
And again, that sounds like a Trixie job. If we want, I can have her soak the stress for it.
Yeah, on the other hand, you have your free crew activity, and this is probably something that Eve the Great could handle, I think.
Okay.
Your slice, your chop shop droid, she can. I mean,
I know a droid that knows a droid.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So do we need to do 2 stress just for the flashback though, or are we saying that was the downtime action?
Yeah, 2 stress for the flashback.
Okay, cool.
The downtime activity is free since you have one left over, but you still need to roll it to see the quality of what he comes up with.
Yeah, and that's just a straight roll. We don't get the thing for that. So
it's 3 dice. You can get an extra die if someone else helps out. If you want to involve someone else, someone outside the crew with this, then you can get the extra die. But yeah.
I think keep it down low is best.
Cool. 3 dice then.
3 dice sounds good. And so I'm that 2 stress for the flashback is going to go to Trixie, right? Or is that, should someone else take that?
Whoever, that's anyone can pay that.
I don't think Trixie knows that droid that well. Is that a Bade thing, or
it's from the ship? So it's
from the ship, not
ship.
the. I'm sorry, I was thinking of the racer droid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy taking that stress then for that.
Cool.
And I will roll that droid some papers. A 6. There we go.
Nice. So that's tier 4.
Another tier 4.
Tier 4 credentials for Mr. Wade. Yeah, so he has actually been fraternizing with these droids, and he's become trusted enough that he is part of that pool that they use. So now you have him. Now you can the rebels can get their hands on him. They just need a reason to suspect him, to be suspicious. Yeah. So one way to do that could be to have like hollow from the meeting where the or from a meeting where Mr. Wade is present, which means you would need to arrange for that recording in some way.
Or maybe some residue from where the two people were supposed to meet or whatever that would point, I don't know, like some sort of mud or what. I'm thinking like a CSI and backwards, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
something,
absolutely.
something visual, like a scar, like a blaster, you know, burn. Thank you. Or
it would need to be something that would place him specifically at that location.
It could also, it could be information, meaning as they dig into Mr. Wade's background, maybe something pings saying, oh, he's been hired by House Galosh before.
Yeah, but the whole point is that you need to make them suspicious enough to do that, I think. I think they trust these droids that they're using, so I don't think.
What if we replace like a knuckle bone or something on it with something gaudy that the house would have used, like make it really like out of place, and maybe they would look into it and like see that it has the imprint or a serial number or something like that. That, you know, give them some golden teeth, and they're like, "Why does he have golden teeth?" But you know, like something that like Mr. Wade showed up, something happens, so they repair the droid before they send it back out, and it's shiny and brand new, and Mr. Wade is normally, you know, not shiny and brand new, and it stands out a little bit or something. I'm just trying to think.
That's absolutely something you can do. I think that would involve a fortune roll. That's just like luck if they become suspicious enough to do something about it.
Yeah, I mean, most people don't look twice at droids. So.
Yeah.
But it's something you can try, and if it doesn't work, you can try something else. It will like take some. It will add some time to however long this job is taking, but yeah.
What if you told him to trip those wires that you didn't trip when you were getting their information in the first place? Make him act suspiciously, right? Like they hire him, but once he's on site, you know, you asked him just, hey, go into that room, spend a few minutes, turn back around and leave or something like that. And then they'll be like, well, why were you in that room? What were you doing? But I guess then they would look at who left the command, and that would point back to you. So never mind. It's easier when you just run in and shoot things. The subterfuge stuff.
We need to give them a reason to be suspicious. I like what you said, Anders, early on about just having a recording.
Yeah.
We need to figure out what would trip them up and make them a little bit paranoid.
So Mr. Wade has been used by Gilash before, is that right?
Yeah.
Is there a way, like, now that we've delivered the information that we think that Gilash is working with the Empire, if like we could get like a weirdly emphatic recommendation to use that droid specifically from Gilash to make them suspicious, or no, that's the other way around. I don't know.
One way would be if Mr. Wade had access that was beyond what would be normal for a rebellion droid, because he has been used by House Galash. But again, that's just kind of luck. Another would be showing the vid, the holo vid. I'm not sure how to make these people suspicious. Maybe that's a survey or a study role to figure out what would make them most suspicious to set them off.
It's like that episode of The Good Place where they're like, "Hey, we got your clues," and he's like, "Well, I actually looked you 1,500, but I'm glad you figured out some of them."
Yeah. Is Wade in on it, or did we implant it deeper without having
I don't think
knowing?
Wade's in on it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I don't think you want Wade to be able to tattle on you.
So
I don't
we're kind of
think-
throwing Wade under the bus a little bit.
Well, we're depending on his reputation.
Yeah.
He's just doing what he was hired to do, just like everybody else. Who is in on it? Us, right? We haven't told the underlings in the gang.
Yeah.
House Nermal knows that we're going to burn them.
Yeah, they don't know
they
details.
just know
so,
that you're going to break up this alliance. They don't,
Yeah.
but they don't know how. They don't know any of the details.
Yeah. So I think it's just us.
Good.
And I think it needs to be something external because, anything we do to Mr. Wade looks suspicious. Anything that we set up looks suspicious. It would need to be something either that can't be traced back to us, or
what if a mysterious sniper takes him out? And they're like, what was he worth shooting for? Right? And they do like a deeper dive or something like that to try to find out. I don't know. I was
Again,
but then they come after the sniper.
Yeah, but it gets them going.
Yeah.
Again, that's going to involve a fortune roll, perhaps with better odds. But like someone shot the droid that was working for us. Okay.
But not the deputy. Yeah. The droid.
What if okay, this might be out there, but what if Tycho is nearby and says, this is the droid you're looking for, right? And made them suspicious.
I like that.
Sure.
That's cool.
We're gonna literally make them suspicious.
This is the droid you're looking for.
You'll be suspicious. Darn it.
That is very cool.
I love that.
Yeah. So what's the plan there then? That means you'll have to meet up with some of the rebels at some point.
Or you could just be standing outside. Do the rebels know you, Tycho?
I don't think
I don't think so.
Don't think so. No.
So I think it could literally be you just standing nearby. And I don't know what your plan was to tell the rest of us, right? You might say I might be able to do this thing, but the rest of us are like, how are you going to make them suspicious without them being suspicious of you? Bade won't believe you, right? Yeah.
Aw. So we're
But if
trying
the
to
rebels
get
don't know you, no, go ahead.
We're trying to get the rebels suspicious of Wade. No, the Imperial.
No, we're trying to get the rebels suspicious of Wade.
Rebels suspicious of Wade. So
that they look into his data core where they will find the planted information that shows the fake planted information that shows that House Gilash is intending to sell out the rebels
which breaks
to the
out,
Imperial.
which breaks up that relationship, which makes our employers happy. Sure. So Tycho could just walk up to the rebels and say, "Hey, by the way, you're getting burned."
So we've done that and
Right.
depended on Val's reputation and my working with them before, that they're suspicious, but we don't know how to get them to look at Wade. So they need to have a bad feeling or something about Mr. Wade.
And that's what we've been puzzling, is how to get them to not trust Wade anymore. And we're trying to fight past a fortune roll to something a little more.
Something that can't be brought back to us, right?
Yeah.
If we implant secret, computer information or suggest it to them that they should look there, it looks suspicious on us.
Mhm.
And I think it's luck to, do they happen to think it might be a problem? But using the force or using whatever that would be called, to lean them in that direction would be good.
That is a good suggestion, and I'm certainly open to that possibility. So, who do we think is the weakest willed among them?
Probably the fifth, I think.
Ooh.
Fogelkas?
Yeah, that would be my guess. He's kind of he's more of a behind the scenes kind of guy. He's not like, because Gigi, she's a hardened criminal. AC, she's been doing this for a long time. Shachri, she's an operative. Theolog, he's an experienced leader. Fogel, he's a lieutenant, sure, but he's not as experienced, not as deep in the game.
Okay. Then I'll see if I can. Wow, I've never done this. If I can influence him, if I can plant that thought, that suspicion, Mr. Wade. Make him. Yeah, I'm going to try that.
Cool.
That sounds wild.
So that means you need to arrange a meeting, or you need to.
I don't
be
want to meet with
close to
him,
it.
but I'd like to be near a meeting he has.
Yeah. So, and I think he's probably the one who supervises these financial transactions. So he'll be there in the office when Mr. Wade is there with the other droids handling these transactions.
Okay, so I just need to be there too.
Yeah, but I think for you to do this, I mean, you'll need to have line of sight at least.
Yeah,
you
I agree.
need to be able
I
to
agree.
see him.
Maybe I need to do a hand gesture. No.
There's a material component of a diamond worth 100 gold pieces.
Oh dear Lord, forget it. I hate magic.
Yeah, and
Space
then there's
magic
the
is
somatic
expensive,
and the
man.
verbal component, but
How? Well, we've got a good relationship with them. So
Sure.
Tycho doesn't know them, but maybe he just shows up because he's trying to use space magic.
Yeah.
Is there someone else that we could go in, and we're trying to basically talk to them and drop the hint? Who else has met with Fogel before?
Definitely Boko.
Could
but
you
I'm
just not use it all the way there, and the dice will tell us if it works? Like you didn't see me, you didn't see me, you didn't see me. Hi, you didn't see me, but you're really interested in this one droid. Bye. Talk to you later.
That's a lot.
So, Boko, do you want to see about meeting up with Fogel and seeing if you can't drop better hints, but Tycho goes along with you?
Yeah, what would the pretense for the meeting be there?
Well, we do have that ongoing we're the go-betweens between 1313 and 1314. So it could easily just be a, hey, we're looking for work. We're putting feelers out. Do you need anything type deal?
Oh, or the other way around. Since if Boko's going to be meeting, say like, hey, I've got some trouble on 1313 and can't really do stuff. Maybe let's talk about some other arrangements you can make.
Oh, interesting.
Like less like, hey, can you do stuff for us? And more like, we've got a situation.
I mean, it's
which can be backed up by evidence.
yeah. The best lies are the ones that make you look bad. That's the ones that are the most believable. So
it's true.
I know this is really unprofessional of me. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm into doing that.
Yeah, that could definitely. I mean, you have contacts with the rebels on 1313. If there's like, yeah, we need to do this thing, we can't go down there. The heat is on.
Yeah, and I've been seen down there. So
yeah. So
verifiable.
That could definitely get you a meeting with Fogal. I don't think you need to roll for that. So let's cut to that meeting. And you've met with him before in this warehouse in the reclamation zone. And I think they're still using that. It's still a safe place. So it's not super close to the Rand, but it's like in the area to the west of the Rand. It's a few blocks from there. So he's there with Shahri. So is this Tycho and Boko?
I think so.
Yeah.
Boko knows them and probably sets it up, and then I just tag along.
Yeah,
shake a few
back up.
hands, maybe flirt a little bit with Shakri. And then while they're talking turkey, I'll just try to do this thing. Never done this before. This is crazy.
So Fogal is like, yeah, we will come into we will probably have more access to resources for our compatriots on 1313 in the not too distant future, and so we may require your services with transportation.
Yeah, we're gonna need to think about another plan for that. 1313 is a little bit hot for us right now. So perhaps we can recommend you some folks who can take on that part of the work for us. We've had a lot of dealing with people down there, and there are definitely folks that we trust.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that you're having difficulties, but that is the way of things. So I think I want to start out with a role from Boko for like keeping the conversation going and not arousing suspicion.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like a consort.
Sure.
And since this is not Boko's strong point, let's put a little stress on that and get 3 dice instead of 2. Yeah, 3 dice seems fine like that.
You're in a risky position.
Yeah.
Standard effect.
Yeah. Yeah, Boko's trying to like play the line between like trying to make a show of not saying what the exact trouble is while dropping hints about what the trouble is, like not like little teasers to keep their interest in like that part of the conversation instead of interrogating our why we're doing it, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's see how that goes. Critical.
Oh my god.
Wow.
You are the best awkward consort.
Yeah.
Since he's already awkward, I guess that's why.
Yeah, I think you easily manage to lead the conversation in on the situation on 1313 with the rebels there and what's going on the upper levels and like just
There's
draw
this
him into
assassin that's amazing.
yeah.
So amazing.
Cool. So Tycho, you have to do this thing using the
Mhm.
force that you've never done before,
I know.
while also avoiding arousing Shachri's suspicion.
I know.
Um,
This seems desperate.
this seems desperate. Yeah, this is a desperate situation because this can go wrong so many ways. And I think also part of this is that Boko has to. I think Boko has to bring up Mr. Wade, like in order to. But with a crit, you can do that. You can like mention droids and that sort of thing that will make him make Fogel think about Mr. Wade without like directly mentioning.
Ooh. Okay.
So I think.
Yes.
I think. I mean, Boko can give you aid here, by doing that part. Since you got a crit, you have the opportunity to do that. Otherwise, I
Yeah.
don't think it would be possible. But with that really
Yeah.
great roll, I think you
I'll
can
definitely do
aid.
that. Boom, aided.
Okay. That means I'm
But I
starting with a
think,
base
sorry.
of 4.
Yeah, I think you also have limited effect here. Because you have to do this while you're also keeping Shachri busy.
Oh Lord. I am getting a die of help. Does that mean I can't use stress for a bonus, but I could use it to get myself a better position?
You can push. Let's see.
It's devil's
Um,
bargains that prevent you
You
from.
can push for effect.
What if you're implanting the idea in her while you're talking, so you don't have to like split your attention? So you're like the idea is implanted in Chakri, and she makes that recommendation later.
I don't know.
Would that bring the?
Would that change things?
It would make it. It makes it easier for you, but then I think we're back to the fortune thing because Fogel is the one who handles the financial stuff.
So it
She
needs to be
doesn't.
him.
So
Okay.
then you're trusting her to be suspicious enough that she mentions it to him and he actually does something about
Okay. That's
it.
fair.
But you can push for effect. So if you want to bring up to standard effect, you can pay 2 stress for that.
Okay, I will push for effect. So I'm a desperate situation with 4 dice. Do you have a devil's bargain?
She's really, really into you.
Wait, how's that a devil's bargain?
She's going to
Look at this
show
guy.
up
Look at this guy.
unexpectedly.
Can you blame her?
Perhaps she's going to be pay a lot of attention to you in ways that may not be conducive to your maneuvering.
That seems fair and also hard. I love it. I will take that. I can apply that 2 dice for a 5th die. Even though I have help, or do I need to do it to push improve? I know I can do one of
you
them.
can get the dice for it.
Okay, so 5 dice. Standard effect.
Desperate position.
XP.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Here it comes.
Super important role here.
Oh my god! Your last die, the last die I asked for.
Yeah.
Oh, it paid off. Oh,
All
wow.
I saw were 2s and 3s.
I
I was
know,
like,
it's
I
like,
know. I was
no.
looking at it too. I was like, oh my gosh, this is bad.
Ooh, okay. Good stuff.
Thank you for the help.
Nice.
So it's
Yeah.
like reach through for a little bit. There's just a moment, and he says, Mr. Wade has been compromised. His core programming has been compromised. You have to do something.
Nice. Yeah, and I think Shakri, she notices that you're a little bit like distant, like
Mhm.
you're not super focused on her. And I think she takes that as you're trying to play coy and you're actually into her, but you're trying to play it cool and lean into
I'd be
your
professional.
yeah. Either that or just playing on your bad boy image of not caring. Yeah. Excellent. This is enough that this is enough that Fogel will dig into Mr. Wade's programming. I think I still need to make a roll to see what happens with that. That doesn't necessarily mean that they fail to find anything, but there's still an element of luck here with
You're looking
how
to see, like they find something. You're just looking to see how much they find.
Yeah,
Is that right?
exactly.
Yeah.
What
Okay.
because I mean he is getting memory wipe regularly. His data core may not be fully stable. The information is definitely there, but what happens with it? Do they trust the information when they find it? There is an element of luck in this, but you've set things up very well. I'm going to make a 4 dice fortune roll. High is good. So.
Do you have your camera? You can use your
Sorry?
die camera? Your die camera?
Sorry, I don't have that set up. It's just going to be the dice roller.
Oh, okay.
That's a 6.
There we go.
It's a 1, 2, 3, 6. So they find the information, it's intact, and this is definitely enough for them to believe it. They have your suspicions that you kind of hinted at as well when in your meeting with AC. And since you did not take the consequence there, right? You resisted the consequence, so it's not coming back to you. Like they're not suspicious that the information came. Cool. I think that concludes the job. That's enough. Actually, you still have to do the part where you get information to Petra. That's not that hard. I think it's just a question of can you do it without anyone finding out? Since there's communication between the levels is more limited. You have to transmit the information or transport it in a way that it gets to her without being intercepted, or at least not being traced back to you. So how do you want to do that? Do you send someone to do it physically? Do you use your smuggle droid? Do you use possibly secure communications, but maybe not? What's the option? And this is kind of bonus just to smash House Gilash extra, because the rebels will pull back so you've achieved the main objective of breaking up the alliance. This is just to make sure House Gilash gets slashed a bit more.
Who knows Petra the best? Besides Bria.
Bria.
So Val, you're Bria's husband
Yeah.
or ex, and Tycho, you're Bria's cousin?
Correct.
Would either of you have known Petra? Petra is a daughter-in-law? I'm sorry.
No, she was going
sister-in-law?
to. Go ahead, Nerman.
Petra was a potential sister-in-law for Bria.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bria's aunt wanted Bria to marry Petra's brother.
Okay.
The people who have regular contract with Petra are the rebels on 1330. So if you get the information to them, they have secure ways to get it to her. That means involving them in this, which right now doesn't seem risky, but who knows? And this is, I mean, since what you're the information you're giving to her. Sorry, I need to think this through for myself.
We are just
information
telling
you're
her
giving
the
to
truth.
her
Yeah. So
is
it's not.
that House Gilash is working with the rebels,
Yeah.
or has been working with the rebels, and you want the Empire to find out. So you want her to bring this information along, which means she can't know what this information is, because she
Right.
would stop it, because she wants to help the rebels.
Right.
So
Which means she
do we
wants to
even
help.
need to tell Petra? We could just make sure that the Imperials on 1313 in general find out that Galash has been working with the rebels, which is true, and it would come down on the Imperials. It could be anybody. It doesn't have to be Petra. The only reason I think we were talking about doing Petra was maybe she gets a promotion or she's more trusted that way.
Yeah, and
But
she
if-
can, since she works in the security apparatus, she can like implant the information, make sure it gets fast tracked. But if it's information you don't want her to know what it is, then that's maybe not the best option.
More dangerous for us, but more effective in getting the information to the right place, possibly. What about the Inquisitor? If we
Yeah. But
drop,
what information? I mean, what
yeah,
evidence do you give him? Because just calling him up and telling him, "Oh, House Gilash is working
hey,
with the
remember
rebels,"
us?
that's not really.
Maybe we have a small recording of the when we took them to meet rebels. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a flashback. That's one stress flashback. I mean, you were there making an inconspicuous recording. That's not too difficult.
Collateral. Yeah.
Carrying around a unconscious butler or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that stress.
Cool. Yeah, you have a recording of the meeting between Lon and was the meeting with Theolog? I don't remember. Whoever the rebel was.
Sounds
that he
right.
was
Yeah.
meeting with.
I think that's right.
Yeah. And you can, then the question is, you want to send it in, you don't want it to be traced back to you. So I
Right.
think that's the key part. So how do you deliver the information to him?
And he's up on 1314 now, right?
Yeah. And he's involved with it. He's close to, at least he's in meetings with Dusar, the person you wanted to, the person in House Gilash who's managing their influence in the Europe.
Could we just sneak in and leave it on his desk or something like that and then sneak out?
Put it on a mouse droid.
Yeah.
Sure, he's just an Imperial Inquisitor who has who houses in the like headquarters for the Imperial bureaucracy. That's fine.
No problem.
Well, it's a dry run for the cube, right?
Sure. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it because I think it's awesome, but it's also very dangerous. I just want that to be clear.
Right.
Just drop it in an interoffice envelope. Leave it with the front desk.
Yeah, that's definitely safer, but also there's more risk or less chance of it working out the way you want it.
What about this? What if we say, you know, basically, what if we sell this? What if we do what we normally do, which is basically we say, hey, we acquired some information from a broker and we're not going to give you who it is. Let's sell it to an informant who sells it to an informant that eventually gets back to the Inquisitor. Just make sure it gets that way. And everybody makes money along the way. And that looks completely legit. That's what we do.
That's true.
And it might get tracked back to us, but we're information, you know, we're information brokers. We're scuzbags.
We didn't know what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the risk there is that if it gets back to you, that means, I mean, if the rebels find out that the recording came from you, that means you're burned with the rebels because you took a secret recording of their meeting, and that recording made its way to the Empire. That's not a good look, and it's not like someone else could have made that recording.
Yeah.
But that's the case anyway. Like if this recording gets out there and it gets back to the rebels that it exists, then you're in trouble.
The only way, actually, the only way that would work is if we rigged it up so that, you know, it's burn upon reading, right? If, you know, in 5 seconds, this will self-destruct. So if it basically wipes itself as soon as someone watches it. So I'm not going to watch it, and the person I sell it to isn't going to watch it. But if I say this, I've been told this is important information for the Empire, and eventually they get a hold of it and they watch it, then that's a big deal. And then it self-destructs, and there's no way for it to get back to us.
Sure. That can absolutely work. That would require a tinker roll, I think, or something similar to make sure that that's set up. And then this whole social engineering thing of getting it out there. You don't know how long it will take, but you can try to guide that sort of.
So Trixie has pretty good tinker, right?
Yeah.
So I could help Trixie. Bade could help Trixie with the tinker roll.
Mm-hmm.
Are you okay with that, Mark?
Yeah, I think that'll work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's do it. We're over time, so I'm going to push, push forward.
Cool.
So did you say you want to do the tinker roll and I'll help, or the other way around?
I'll help and you do the tinker roll.
Cool. Yeah, I'll just take my 3 tinker on that. Tinker the thing. Yeah, I'm not gonna push or anything. Just go for it. There's a 6.
Yeah, you've got it set up. This will be can only be played once, but it's got like good image and audio. You made sure that it's going to be clear to whoever watches it what it is. So then the question is, do you just sell this and try to like sell it to someone who you think will pass it on the right way, or do you try to send it directly to the Inquisitor or somewhere into the Imperial apparatus and hope that it makes its way to the right people?
I like the mouse droid idea, but we want it to look more official than that, right? So,
I mean, actually, now that you set it up this way, you could use Petra if you wanted to. Like say, this is information we need to get to sent into the Imperial bureaucracy, preferably to the Inquisitor. you can't watch it because we've been told that it's a destroy upon watching thing.
Mhm. Yeah.
Cool.
Now, if we were playing
So-
Fiasco, she would definitely watch it.
Yeah.
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 We're not playing Fiasco.
Not quite.
Not with only
So-
sixes.
Do you use the rebels on 1313 to get it to Petra, or do you try to do it yourselves?
Petra.
I mean,
Right.
do you try to do you want to use Petra, but do you try
Oh.
do you give it to Petra yourself, or do you use the
Oh,
rebels? That was
I don't
my-
know that Petra would necessarily trust us, so I think we need to go through the rebels.
Yeah. And we've established that we are having troubles on 1313. So being seen down
Yeah.
there right now is not great.
So this is Becker, I assume, or do you use Molotevs, who's with 4? You have good relationships with both of those people.
Becker, then.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Cool. And I think we should make some kind of roll based on how you transport this, how you arrange for this to be transported to him. Do you want to use your droid? Does someone travel down there? Do you go with a ship through the Rand? What's the method?
I think Val wants to go see Bria's apartment one last time.
Mhm.
So he'll head down to 1313. Anybody else can join him if you want. He's completely truthful about what he's doing. I mean, like if you ask, like he shows the toys and everything. Like there's
Nice.
nothing's being hidden at this point. So yeah, he'll head down to 1313.
Cool.
And then maybe Bade's old gang, we can deliver it through them or whatever, whatever 1313 nostalgia we want, we can make happen. Except for the Dark Lord space, so they can't do anything.
No, that's hard. So yeah, I think that sounds like Val and Bade meeting up with someone from the Grey Mice, telling them to get this to Becker. That sound fair?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cool. So then I want some kind of role for Val and Bade to make this journey without incident. A group action, I think. So you'll be rolling the same action, but you can figure out what you want to do.
So my contact with the gray mice is Fingers on row E84. And I'll meet with her. And so I think this is a negotiation where we sell it. Because if we just handed it over, there would be suspicion. So we sell it and make sure it gets into the hands of Petra. Oh wait, yeah,
Could we do a command roll?
sure.
I don't think you need to roll to get this to Petra. I want to see a roll for you for Bade and Val to make the trip without being discovered in some way.
Yes.
So Prowl.
How
Sure.
works if you're primarily
Yeah.
like trying to stay out of sight and sneak around, do Boko's thing of using the rooftops, that kind of thing. So Prowl absolutely works.
Cool. And I can push myself, right?
Yep.
Okay.
You can't assist each other, but you can, and you can get Devil's Bargain.
Do you have a devil's bargain that you're considering?
I didn't, but hmm. Someone have a suggestion?
Babe, didn't you fly into some building at some point?
Yeah.
Maybe that cold case gets someone's like, hey, there's that guy that did that thing.
So I don't mind. I don't want to mess this up, so I'm not going to do that. So let's just go ahead and make that roll.
Okay. I got 2-5.
Um,
I got 2-5.
I've got a 6.
You got a 6.
So 1
We
stress.
skeet. No stress. We both succeeded.
No stress.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
No stress, and you get a 6. So you do it. You like pull out the hood thing for traveling on the ferry. You get down there. You have set up since Fingers is the one who's helped you set up the medicine thing. You have regular contact with her, so that's easy. She gets the recording. She can get it to Becker. Becker can get it to Petra. Petra gets it to the Inquisitor back on 1314. So now he knows that the House Gilash and the rebels are working together, and that's bad for House Gilash. Cool, job finished.
Dun, 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 dun.
We're over time, but I think we'll do XP because otherwise we'll forget about things. Not that XP is super important with just.
Do you want to do Fallout as well?
Sorry?
Do you want to do Fallout from the job as well, so we don't forget?
I think we'll save that for next session. Maybe I'll just do the mathy things and just tell you what happened next time. So you did you conduct a successful smuggling operation? That wasn't really the core thing here, but I feel like doing the transport thing down to 13. There was an element of smuggling in this job.
That feels like smuggling. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you should get 1 XP for that. I don't think you really contended with challenges above your current station. I need to check. The rebels on 13. Oh, actually, you did, because House Gilash is tier 4, and you were definitely working against them. The rebels are tier 3, but you should get 1 for that as well. Bolster your crew's reputation or develop a new one. Daring, loyal, mercenary.
I would suggest bringing this to the attention of the rebels made us appear more loyal.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
That's true. That's true.
we've got the reputation.
Yeah. That's check on that. Did you express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew?
Yeah, I mean, we went through a lot of trouble to like both kind of like unnecessarily poke someone and like do the thing we needed to do to keep from getting like in deeper trouble with Nirmal for the moment. Kind of like playing it hot a little bit.
Yeah. The goals definitely came into play there, I think. Yeah. I think that's it for XP. Actually, you're 1 away from an advance, which feels kind of crappy since you probably won't do another job before the prison break. So I think you can justify getting 1 more from goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature.
Yeah.
Because this is like I think you have an inner conflict between like helping the rebels helping yourselves. And this
Hmm.
is kind of picking a side there, that no, it's more important that we do well than what happens to the rebel.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's an advance. Let's do that next session. So XP, we'll go in first order. Nothing for Bria this session. Val, address a challenge with patience or putting others' needs ahead of your own.
I gave the Alderani woman a hug that she wasn't like expecting.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true. Signaling some vulnerability there.
yeah.
And definitely expressing your heritage and background there as well, I would say.
Sure. That'll be it. No vice or traumas. Unless the trauma
Yeah.
is, losing my
Yeah.
child.
I think the thing with Vals is the model should give you one more on background.
Okay.
So 3 total.
3. Cool.
Heiko, did you address a challenge with charm or recklessness? You were charming with
I think
Shakri,
so.
right?
Yeah, I even took a devil's bargain for it. So I'm gonna say yeah.
Yeah. That definitely seems fair. Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
Maybe with the tune, like part of his beliefs, his interest in the weird, his
Hmm.
vice. Maybe.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
Okay.
Did you struggle with issues from your vice or trauma?
Probably could have worked in cold, but didn't, and the vices didn't play. So probably not.
Yeah, that sadly sounds fair.
Were you cold towards the chick whenever you were focused in on the other guy? Whenever she was making advances towards you?
That's what I was thinking too.
Oh, that's true. I did kind of cut her off.
Yeah, I think that's fair. She's still into you, but you kind of holding her at arm's length.
Sweet. I'll mark 2 of those XP in resolves, which means I'm going to raise my. Let's see. Is anybody else good at sway? Yeah, I'm going to be as good at sway as Bade. Awesome. That's it. That's the one thing I can challenge you at. Okay. Cool.
So Tritzy, I don't think we saw much of her beliefs or drives or struggle, but she did address challenges with technical skill. I
Yeah.
think she did that twice.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing really else, I don't think.
You didn't really get to play her. She just did something.
she was just in the lab the whole time.
Yeah. Boko, on the other hand, probably not address a challenge with tracking or violence.
Yeah, I don't think he did either of those.
But did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background?
No. I don't think he did.
No, I can't really think of anything either.
Yeah.
Did you struggle with issues from your vice or trauma?
You rolled too many 6s, my friend.
Yeah, no, I don't think I did either. I don't think there's any struggle for him there.
No, not really. You didn't lean into being paranoid or reckless, so yeah, nothing for Boko.
That's what happens when you get too much experience.
Yeah, where you're running 2 characters and only one of them does something useful.
Doing too good to get experience.
So Bade, did you address a challenge with theft or guile?
Definitely, yeah. The yeah,
Yeah, I think so. Once, do you think you hit
definitely talking to the rebels at the beginning, you
Mhm.
know, trying to hint, go check out Mr. Wade,
Mhm.
droids aren't reliable. And I don't think the second one by going back to the gray mice did. I think that'd be more background.
Yeah, that seems fair. So
Yeah.
that's back. That's one for challenge, one for background. Do you think
Yeah.
you hit that one for anything else?
I don't think so.
No, probably not. Struggle with issues from your vice or trauma.
I don't think so.
No, you were too professional. No XP in being professional.
I think we're all trying to be super safe about this because we knew what was on the line. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. That's it for XP. I'll do the Fallout and let you know how that plays out because it's getting late here. Yeah. So I think next session we'll start planning for the prison break. Probably not actually get into the job. I think we should get some nice scenes in with the characters and do some of at least most of the legwork for the prison break. Session after that, we'll actually do the prison break, assuming everyone can make it, because that's a session where I want everyone to be present. So if someone can't make it, we'll push it forward. Yeah, and then we'll have we'll see if anyone's still alive, and we can do some epilogues.
Nice.
Cool.
Cool.
I'll bring the recording to a close then.
Please
There we
do.
go.